about sales. I've got two absolutely dominating personal producers, teachers, trainers. These guys are good. So I hope you got your pens and your papers out. I just want to tell you, like, here's the thing that kind of blows my mind, and I hope we provide value every week. But I hope that I feel like there's always something, because I know I'll be taking notes, just writing stuff down that's always sharpening the saw and getting better. And that's what this is about. This is here to help educate you and inspire you and help you get on your way. And really the main course today, and what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about what it takes to be a $5,000 plus producer every single week. Like, what does that take? What does that look like? And me and Justin Balik were talking, and we were talking about how awesome it would be to have someone that writes $5,000 a month. We're so fired up, so excited to have someone like that. But if you want to perform on a full-time, high level, $5,000 a week is very doable. We were like, why not just ask someone who's doing it? So we were like, let's get Paul Vanthof on the call and ask him some questions about how he is writing, every single week, $5,000 or more in production. Been doing it for more than 6 weeks in a row now. I've been doing it for a long time. Barely ever drops below that. It's like kind of crazy. Statistically, numbers wise, over time, yeah, over 5,000. There's some weeks I've seen, Paul, you've gone below, but not many. Most of the time it's $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 in production. So can you talk on that, Paul Vanthof? Can you talk a little bit about what you've been doing and what you believe to be your reasons for success?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on the call. What an awesome time to be alive. I think one of the things that's really contributed to my success is sticking to a schedule. Like, I personally do not like, you can ask my wife, I do not like changing my schedule like at all. Like, I run Fridays and Saturdays. Obviously sometimes you do have to change that, but I consistently run Fridays and Saturdays every single week, unless something else is going on. But outside of, I don't know, a family, like a big family event or something like that,
Christmas,
I'm running Fridays.
Outside of Christmas?
Outside of Christmas, yeah. Christmas was one of those. Yeah, Christmas was one of those. I was not running on the weekend on that. Not to say I wouldn't run an appointment, but I just wasn't. But typically I'm going out in person Fridays and Saturdays every single week, doing in-person appointments from 9 a.m. on Friday to 8 p.m. on Friday. And then I'm starting as early as someone will meet with me, but typically I start 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday until, my last appointment at 8. So that's on a consistent basis.
That's, without a shadow of a doubt, that's your calendar. That's what you're doing. Something drastically has to change in order for you to change that.
Right.
And when you change that, your results change too, don't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's
so, to go, you guys, no, you're good. Okay. So to go along with that, because we've had situations like this before, PVT, where people will hear, $5,000 plus 2 days a week. And then when they don't write $5,000 in 2 days a week, they feel like crap, or they feel they're not that good or whatever. So you've built a skill set at this point, but can you talk about before, what was it like? For real, for the new people in the room.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What was it like, and how many days would you run to hit that 5,000?
I'm literally thinking back. I was thinking about this like in the shower this morning. Like when I've talked a little bit about this before, but like when I started out, right, I was part-time working 1 day a week. And I thought $5,000 in annualized premium in 1 month was like the biggest hill to climb. And I was like, am I ever going to get to like 5,000? Like, am I ever going to get there? And then I just kept running appointments. And then like one weekend I like hit 5,000. I was like, oh, I guess that's not that bad. And then, 20,000 in a month seemed like the Mount Everest, right? Like, wow, I got a 4X this in a month. So yeah. And here's the thing is I would always compare my numbers to Paul's numbers, Paul Minichino's numbers, right? Guy who's been doing sales all his life. At that point, it was like 9 years in the business. He's got a certain skill set. I was just trying to figure it out, but I would compare myself to him and get upset. So don't compare your story with someone else's story, right? Like, be where you are. Obviously, this takes a little bit of time to learn the skill set, but do not compare yourself to people who have been doing it longer. It's almost disrespectful, right?
Right. Well, and I think, Paul, one of the things you said is you got to build a skill set, right? And that takes different people different amounts of time, but you can compress those times, meaning it doesn't have to take you long to get good. Now, if you only have X amount of time and this is the only amount of work you can put in, you got to do what you can do. But if you got a wide open day, a wide open week, and you don't have anything else going on, like, oh my gosh, you can hurry up and get through that pain and get really good really fast.
That's true.
Right. You could run 100 appointments in a year, or you could run 100 appointments in 2-3 months.
1 month.
Right.
1 month. 1 month.
Or 1 month.
Yeah.
Sorry, run 100 appointments in a month.
Yeah.
So
it's
the
really
point was
shorter. You can do it quicker. You can do it faster.
All
right. So schedule is huge, and building a skill set is huge. What else? What other attributes would you say have helped you in your success at being consistent and writing, a decent amount of premium?
So I think this business, it's been said before that this business is like 80% phones, 15% product knowledge, and 5% in-home presentation. I would say this business is like 90% mindset, and then 10% do the work, right? So like you have to have the right mindset going into it every single day. How do you get a good mindset? I'm working on reading every single day, doing my best, and I'm listening. I'm always listening to audios, like working out, listening to audios, doing other stuff, listening to audios. Like I was like dialing the other day and listening to The Psychology of Money or something like that. So constantly putting good things in my brain, because if I let my own brain think for a millisecond, something crazy is going to happen. So I need to be constantly pouring stuff into this brain. I'm always on the calls. Like if you're listening to my voice, good job, because this is one of the things I do. I'm always on the calls. So every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, I'm on the call. Every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, I'm on the call. Every Thursday at 1 o'clock, I'm on the call. And you never know when you're going to get a little nugget, right, to explode your business. For instance, like last week when we did the Thursday call, there was some stuff I learned and I've been doing this, 4 or 5 years. So you really just never know. And then the other thing is, I'm always, when I'm in the field, I'm always thinking attitude and activity. Like I literally say that to myself a million times. To piggyback that, you have to have enthusiasm when you're out there, right? So like when I book the appointments, I don't necessarily have like an upbeat tone, right? I'm just booking the appointment. But when I get out there, that's when my enthusiasm and my personality come out to life. And so just getting excited about what you're doing. So don't get me wrong, I got to pump myself up to make dials, right? I'm not special. I'm 4 years into this. I'm still thinking about this morning. I was thinking about how I have to dial tomorrow. Like I'm getting anxiety about it, right? So that, I don't think that ever goes away. But I just do it. That's one of the things I told Courtney Sessom at the mansion, just do it. Just do it. You just gotta go to work.
Yeah.
I think, go ahead, Justin.
No, you talked about so much stuff in such a short amount of time. So if I covered everything, this would be like an hour and a half. But I just think one of the things that you said there at the end is so important. And just to say in a different way is, if we would dial or we would work when we felt like it, nothing would ever get done. And that's what everyone wants to do. Well, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like, so everyone wants to feel their way into an action, and that doesn't work. You need to act your way into a feeling. Because here's what I know, bro, is even though you hate the dialing, or not that you hate the dialing, but that you have to make yourself dial, once you do it, you feel way better because you know that you have a full schedule of appointments. But you wouldn't have that feeling of accomplishment and that feeling of everything is set up right if you didn't force yourself to do it so that you could get that feeling.
Right. And if anyone's ever read Relentless by Tim Grover, right? It's not that, it's not like it's not like I like making dials, right? I like the result that comes from the dials, right? So for instance, he talks in his book about, Kobe Bryant would work out, Kobe Bryant would call him up. So Tim Grover was like Kobe Bryant's personal trainer and Michael Jordan's personal trainer. And Kobe Bryant would call him up at 3 a.m. And say, we're going to the gym, right? Do you think Kobe liked getting up at 3 o'clock and going to the gym? No, but he loved the result that came from shooting when nobody else was shooting, right? He was putting in the extra work. And I think it worked out pretty well for him. But yeah.
So, what's funny is I was listening to the audiobook of that just recently, and this is it. Craving the end result so intensely that the work becomes irrelevant.
Right. It's not
So
how many calls do I have to make. It's I'm going to make the calls until I get the result I'm looking for, which is how many appointments do you want, right? That's really what it comes down to, is that you want this many appointments and you're going to make the calls. You could get lucky and be done in 2 or 3 hours, or shoot, you might have to pack a lunch some weeks, man. Yeah. It's just what are you gonna do?
It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Let me tell you, it's not. If you think it is, it's not. Come to my world. Come ride with me. It ain't perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect at all.
I don't know that they're giving out a 6-figure income for all sunshine and rainbow jobs, or multiple 6-figure income. I just don't think that exists. And if it does, well, I think you'd probably be doing that instead of talking to us.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, $100,000 a year is not the average income in America. So you're gonna have to pay a price if you want to make more than the average American.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to, but here's the cool part: is we're in a place where you can work your way into an above average income. You can work your way. And it pays dividends. So it's not like it's a one-time pay and then you got it does continue to pay you on the sales side and on the team building side with what we do. So, the crazy part is you can really build consistent income.
Right. And another thing, can I go on of what I think? I got some notes.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
So one of the things is, I use the tools that are available to me, meaning the product grids. So the term product grid, the final expense product grid, which Jane redid, which are so much easier to read. Okay, she spent hours on that. Please look at the product grid, right? And if I look at the product grid and I have a question, I'm always calling someone who has the answer, right? It's kind of like, well, you guys probably remember this show. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Okay, so Who Wants to Be a Millionaire used to be a game show, right? Where it would be a trivia show, right? And so it would be crazy questions, and they had lifelines in that show. So one of them was ask the audience 50-50, so 2 of the answers would be taken away, and the last one was phone a friend. And you only got those 3 through the whole game, right? But we're in an industry where we have unlimited phone a friends, right? So you have people that can help you, either call who you're working with directly, or we have the agent hotline, right? I don't know how much more support you can get than that. I'm not really sure how many IMOs have an agent hotline. So
yeah, the people who actually sell insurance answer.
Right. For real.
It's kind of crazy to think about. I just looked at the leaderboards. Is that number correct, Justin? Is that really 22,000?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I thought there was a glitch for the week, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well,
good.
really, that was just yesterday. So
That's kind of cool. That'll make you feel good about yourself for a couple of days.
True.
I love the energy as far as like getting out there and making it happen, Paul. What is it like when you're going out there and you're running appointments? I mean, I know schedule's important. You said enthusiasm's important. You had a lot of other stuff in there. What are you thinking about? Like, what are you trying to do while you're out there? What are you looking to accomplish?
So I'm trying to serve the client as best as I can. So when I go out there, I'm trying to get in front of people and then figuring it out from there. Because, they filled the form out, they requested the information. I just got to figure out their problem and try to solve the problem. Right. So, a lead is a lead is a lead. I don't care what the lead is. If it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years old, if they filled it out for life insurance, I'm booking the appointment and I'm going to go over their house and figure it out.
So you're saying the lead is not the problem. If I'm calling and not booking appointments, it's not the lead's fault.
Correct. It's not the lead's fault.
If I show up at their house and they don't buy insurance, is that the lead's fault?
No.
Because I think, what do you think? If I show up at their house and they're there, did the lead do its job?
Yes, absolutely.
So who screwed up if I don't sell it?
You did.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that I had that clear because I didn't know how you thought about it. That's kind of like, I'm seriously like, if you like, because if the lead gets you to the house, then I feel like it's done what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, then that's all you need. And that goes along with like personal accountability, right? And I think when we're new in this business, it's always they were broke, they didn't, they this, they that. But when you put it like, what did I do wrong and how can I fix it? Stuff started to change. So like not making excuses, fixing it. Because stuff's gonna happen, right? No one's perfect. But like how fast can you fix it?
Yeah.
So if you go and sit down on like, because I know this has happened to you, might even happen this week, I don't know, but if you go sit down on 4 or 5 deals and I know most of the time you're going to close some of them, but let's say you go 4 or 5 deals in and you don't close anything, are you pissed off at the people at that point? Or are you thinking it's your fault? Or what do you think? How do you handle that?
I'm personally thinking what's going on with me. I got to get my mind right, and I call someone. So I don't like sit there and sulk and say, "Oh yeah, these people they just don't want to buy today." There's certainly because most Americans are underinsured. Let's just be clear. Most people are underinsured. There's always room for more insurance, and you just got to build that value.
Got it. And I feel like if you blame something else, you definitely have no control. There's not like you
Right.
lose all control when you blame something else. If you blame you, then you can fix it. And most of the time, let's be real, it's your fault. I know it's been I say it's your fault, but it's been my fault every time that they're not like,
Same.
Right. And sometimes you walk out of an appointment and you're like, oh my gosh, why did I say that? I didn't like, God.
I knew I was supposed to have the spouse sit down. Damn it, I did it again. I knew it. I knew I was supposed to have the spouse sitting down. I don't know why I thought I was going to do it without that.
Yep. Yeah. I had a train of thought going. But I mean, that goes along with kind of like the next play mentality, right? So like you can't bring your last appointment with you to the next appointment, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent. You can't bring because that's not fair to the next family, right? So if the appointment before went terrible, they kicked you out, whatever happened, or you just didn't sell it, you can't bring that baggage to the next appointment. It's just not fair to them, right? So next play, so like, move on and then, talk about it later, but just move on. You gotta have a short memory, not a quick memory. You gotta have a short memory in this. You can't get So like you can't walk out of a house and sell it for $300 a month and be all, you can't go get too high and then go too low, right? You can't walk out of a house for $300 a month or go over 5 and want to, jump off a bridge, right? Like, that kind of goes along with like, you got to play the whole game. Sometimes you start out, your whole day is absolutely terrible. Like people are no showing you, people are sitting no sales. And I remember, Paul, like when I was starting out, because I only ran like 5 appointments a day sometimes, and I would be like the first couple of times I sat 8 o'clock appointments, like I sold them. So I was always like fired up for 8 o'clock appointments, 8 p.m. appointments, because 8 p.m. appointments are buyers. So like if your day is going bad and you got your 8 p.m. appointment, I'm excited. I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. This is gonna change my whole day around. Because you could go a whole day having a terrible day, and then the last appointment, it's $200 a month between the husband and the wife, and your world changed like that.
All of a sudden, the day wasn't so bad.
Right? Yeah. You're driving home. It's like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Someone explained it to me one way. They said, "Hey, if I come over to you and I ask you for a coffee, and you don't have a coffee, so you don't give me a coffee, did I like have the coffee before?" And I was like, no. He's like, do I have the coffee now? And I'm like, no. He's like, did anything change? I was like, nothing changed. He's like, the only thing that changed was my emotion attached to it. Right? Like you didn't have the sale before, you didn't have the sale after, nothing changed. The only thing that changed was your emotional response.
That's good.
Wow. See, I need to write that. I need to write that one down.
That's what we call a writer downer, PVT.
Yeah,
that's good. And it's all about perspective, because what a lot of new agents will do is, though, if they have those 5 appointments and those 4 go bad, they're like, this has been a crappy day. I'm just gonna go home.
Not the winners.
Right. Exactly. And that last appointment, I don't know what it is about the last appointment, but for whatever reason, they want you to win.
Right.
For real.
Right.
You got to go to that last appointment.
And like, don't get me wrong. Sometimes, like, if you're having a bad day, you don't necessarily feel like going. It's a half an hour away.
The other direction.
Half an hour away.
The other direction. Away from home.
Yeah. Half an hour away from home. You don't necessarily want to go to it, but you're like, dang it, it's my last appointment. These people need me. So always kind of gotta pump yourself up.
I need them and they need me.
Yeah.
It's always fun when you like, because let's just be real, like if you think everyone's 100% all the time, like you're wrong, right? But it's always fun when you go to that appointment and like the person's so nice to you that they like make you feel better about yourself. Like I don't know if anyone else has ever had one of those, but I'm like, oh man, thank God for this little old lady being so nice to me right now. Like I'm beat up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to an 8 o'clock appointment, 8 o'clock Friday appointment, and you got crazy thoughts going up to the door. You're trying to block those out, and the guy answers the door with just a big old smile on his face, and I was like, it's on.
It's on. Thank you, universe, for helping me.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. So, Justin, I feel like you might have had another question or two written down over there. Did you have anything?
Yeah, I did. So, well, 2 things. Do you have a bunch more notes that you're going through? You still have a lot more? Because I don't want to interrupt you. If you're flowing, bro.
I will talk about. I will talk about leads, like leads and referrals. I do want to talk about that. So I do have consistent lead flow every single week, right? So like I'm getting leads sent to me every single week. I'm getting referrals in the house, okay? And I have also like current clients that I'm calling as well. But so you need to have constant lead flow, because leads are inventory in your business, right? You can't run a sandwich shop with no bread and ham, right? It's just impossible, right? So you need the leads to get in the door. And then once you sell the lead leads you into their warm market. Learn that from Sydney. If that quote has stuck with me for so long, I think about it every day. The leads lead you into their warm market, right? So leads are great, but referrals are better. So
Yeah, what can you talk about, because I think that's one thing, and I don't want to get too far in depth on the mechanics of everything, but can you talk about how you make yourself call referrals every week?
yeah, so I call referrals. I have a time block in my calendar from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Monday mornings to call all my ERSs. Now, before I used to kind of call them on the days I was dialing too, but this is kind of just the way that I've changed it a little bit. Seems to be working out. Like I can usually get, 1 or 2 phone sales off of those ERS calls, because
so you're using the referrals for phone sales. Okay.
Right. And I just honestly, I didn't believe in the emergency contact list for like the longest time. Like I didn't believe it. But then once I legitimately started believing it and like understood like more people need insurance and people are very open to like talking about it, my whole perspective like changed.
They need it. They're not
Yeah.
going out leads. They need us to call them, man, and talk to them and help them out. It's really
right.
true.
And no matter what the person says that you sold, like they probably don't need it. There's been a lot of times where people are like, yeah, oh yeah, I need this.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's kind of it.
That was good. No, that was really good, bro. So a couple things that I heard there was, there are people that say, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that. But what I'm hearing from you is if you're thinking you're going to do something, you put it in your schedule, because then your schedule tells you that you need to do it. And if it's not in your schedule, you ain't going to do it.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So you've getting regimented like that and stuff is also a different skill set. And here's something that I hear a lot of from people. At this point, you write it in your schedule, it's going to get done, right? But when you started, because I got a lot of new people where it's just so difficult for them to dial consistently, right? Difficult. It's about as difficult as laying bricks or pavement or anything out in the 90 degrees sun. And no, it's not. We're air conditioned. We're making calls inside, but for whatever reason, it's difficult, right? So here would be my question is, when you started, what was something that helped you create the habit of dialing consistently?
Great question. So when I started, I was part-time. So when I started, I didn't have a lot of other time outside of my job, because I was working 6 days a week. So that, number one, helped me be structured, right? So I would dial on Friday morning from 7 a.m. Yeah, 7 a.m. I started making phone calls to 9 a.m. Would go into the office, Bell Lacrosse office, take a midday break from 3 to 5. Then I had practice after that. And then after practice, if I didn't have enough appointments, I would dial after practice. So that was one thing that helped me, was I didn't necessarily have a lot of time. But one of the other things that did help me when I made the transition, and you don't have to be full-time to do this, but going to the office and hearing Paul be consistent, and 7:30 on Thursday, that's when we dial. I'm big on structure and discipline. So you tell me when I need to dial, and that's when I'm going to dial. Right. So 7:30 it used to be 7:30 to 10:30 would be the first session. And then 2 to 4 after that. So just staying structured and getting around other people dialing, it's massive.
So you just touched on something that we used to say all the time. You just said it in a different way that I think is awesome, is if you don't have the habit created or the discipline created yet, get around the people that do have that habit or discipline and just do what they do. And guess what?
Right.
Now I don't gotta be disciplined or have a habit. All I'm doing is doing what they're doing when they're doing it. I'm borrowing your habits. I'm borrowing your discipline. And you know what's crazy? You do that consistently, and in a couple of weeks, you done created a habit. Kind of crazy how that happens.
Yeah, I mean, the more people we can get on Thursday morning at 7:30 a.m. dialing, the better we are going to be. And now they have live dials, Justin. We didn't have like live Zoom dials where we can have DJ and Daniel out in Alaska, listening to me dial in Winchester, Virginia.
Right.
Live dials.
True.
Like they didn't have that. So like you really don't have an excuse that you can't get around other people dialing because someone's willing to help you.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good, bro. I like that.
All right. Did you have any other ones, Justin? That was a good question. That was a good lineup. Covered them all. He covered them all.
I think so. Yeah. Inadvertently, I think I've covered. Yeah.
You done hit all the points. Good job.
I think so.
Cool, man. Well, as we wrap up, first off, I want to say thank you everyone for plugging in and taking the time out to educate yourself. And I hope that these calls help. I want to thank you and Paul and Justin for hopping on. And really, we want to empower people to run a profitable and sustainable business, right? That is what we're working on, and that is a huge deal to us. So that's the goal, right? That's where we're headed. So if you want something different, ask different questions. So as we wrap up, Paul, Justin, do you guys have any closing remarks? Anything you want to throw in there?
Yeah. I mean, so I would say hopefully this helped someone out, right? There was a lot of stuff in there. That was jam-packed. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Those are good questions.
Good job, PVT.
But I would say, like, don't overthink this business because it doesn't take any innate talents to do this business, right? Like, I was a 5'10", 5'11" on a good day, 230-pound lineman when I was in high school, right? For me to go to the NFL, pretty much impossible. Right? Because I don't have those physical attributes to play in the NFL. With this, can you talk and can you ask questions? That's it. And do you have a work ethic? Because that's really all it is. It's a contact sport. You got to get in front of people either over the phone or in person to do this business. So all I've done is I've had really crazy work ethic and I've just copied the people that we're doing well. That is literally all I have done. I have not had one original idea in this business. I'm a copycat, and I'm proud of it.
As you should be. Heck yeah, bro.
So just copy the people that are doing well, and let's go.
All right. Well, we will catch you guys all next week for next episode of All About Sales. You guys have a good rest of your day. Take care.
Bye. Peace.